Hey everybody. I just want to do a quick video. So I have a 15-month-old son who was diagnosed with laryngomalacia at about, pretty sure it took maybe like 2 months. I can't even remember exactly when he was diagnosed, but I thought it was important to share a little bit with my mama community and those who are new moms or moms to be. This is really important to be aware of. So I was reminded of this because I'm still breastfeeding my 15-month-old, and he still has episodes where he will choke while he's nursing. So this happened all the time when he was a newborn, and from day one, even in the hospital, he never like slept. And so like the nurse would always come in, change him, put him down because I had a C-section, put him back down, and literally the moment they left the room, he would wake up. So I would get myself up, I would grab him, put him on my chest, and we'd fall back asleep. Not the safest practice, but I was in there at night kind of by myself, so the nurses really weren't coming in too much checking on me. And it wasn't until the last night where I kind of told one of the nurses who I had during my first delivery what was going on, and she watched him more, but nobody picked up on it. So I come home with my newborn, and I have a toddler at the time, a 2.5-year old, almost 3-year old at the time. And the baby, every time he would fall asleep, he would choke. When he would nurse, he would choke. He was getting a lot of gas intake. When he fell asleep, he would stop breathing. So putting him on his back was never an option. From the first days that we were home, I would hear that he wasn't breathing, and he would choke and try to get himself to breathe again. So I ended up sleeping with him upright on my chest for a while. And you don't sleep, so you wonder sometimes if what you're experiencing is real as a new mom. So weeks, I don't even know how long went by, so I don't really want to like talk in time frames, but time's going by, and this is going on for a while. And every time he's nursing, he's getting tons of gas, so we think it's the lip tongue tie, so we get that revised. After that, it was even worse. Everything got a lot worse. It didn't help relieve the gas intake. He was choking every time he would nurse as he was falling asleep, so it wasn't like a strong letdown. I had that with my first son, and reflux, and it wasn't that type of choking. It was like as he would relax, he would choke. And as he would fall asleep and get into a deep sleep, he would stop breathing. And I know that because I slept with him right next to the bed, and then I wasn't able to have him sleep because there was no putting him on his back. I was terrified because he was a newborn, and so I slept a lot with him on my chest, upright on an angle, and then I moved him to a pillow right next to me. It took me a while to feel comfortable having him sleep on his stomach, so I would have him nap on his stomach as time went on in order to feel comfortable with having him sleep on his stomach. So he's been a stomach sleeper on a pillow since the day he was born. So now I'm telling you, I wish I bought the Owlette a real long time ago, and it was kind of too late when diagnosis came out, and he was doing occupational therapy every week up until 8 to 10 months old. He was doing occupational therapy weekly around just motor skills of the mouth, using his tongue, feedings, sensory, just to try to wake that area up and get it to function properly. Even though what laryngomalacia is, if you don't know about it, I'm going to read you the definition. It's a cause of stridor in infancy, so most kids have stridor. My kid did not have stridor. He just stopped breathing. So in which the soft, immature cartilage of the upper larynx collapses inward during inhalation, causing airway obstruction. Let's see. It's the most common laryngeal congenital disease in infancy. And yeah, awareness of it is completely lacking. So even my pediatrician, who I love, she referred us to a specialist that was more like a sensory thing, chiropractic, and I didn't even go because it was going to be a few $100s out of pocket. My gut was just like, no, he is not breathing. Like, I know after watching him, after not sleeping, it was when he hit the state of full relaxation in his sleep, he would stop breathing because all that musculature relaxed. Again, I would have bought so much faster, but I was like so sleep deprived. I had never heard of this before, so I had no idea. But after she recommended us to a specialist, I just called her and I was like, no, I need an ENT referral because this isn't a specialist in that sense of like sensory or chiropractic. It wasn't a holistic view. I knew he wasn't breathing. Like, this was real. This was very real. So we brought him in. He was a few months old and had scope done, which then the ENT was like, he has Laryngomalacia. It's like, what? I've never heard of that before. And even with the ENT was just so matter of fact because he wasn't turning blue when he stopped breathing because I was with him every single time he was asleep. But because he wasn't turning blue, they just said like, good luck. Good luck with the sleeping. And then we did go to a swallow study for his nursing to make sure he wasn't aspirating milk. And so I just want to share a few tips with these Laryngomalacia babies. First of all, trust yourself, moms. If you feel like your baby is having a hard time breathing, invest in the Owlet. It's like $100, but it will monitor their O2 sats and it'll sound an alarm when their O2 sats drop, so then you can hopefully be there to help and like stimulate them so they begin to breathe again. The other thing I wish I would have done sooner was definitely just gone to the ENT a lot sooner and not doubted what was going on. But I thought it was a similar experience I had with my first, which was like more the reflux and gas and from the tongue tie. But because he wasn't breathing or able to sleep on his back, I should have known something else was wrong. The other thing is not a lot of doctors or nurses have heard of Laryngomalacia. It is pretty rare. So when you know, you just have to get the proper diagnosis. So the Owlet was a definite thing I would have gotten, and sooner, like way sooner. And I would have started OT. OT was a huge lifeline for me. It was the only place I could go that had compassion for what I was going through and that I felt actually helped. There's a support group coping with Laryngomalacia, and they could send you like a care package. So some babies do have to get surgery on their larynx. There's also Laryngomalacia too, so they might have to get surgery on their pharynx. It can be pretty severe and require surgery, but thank God in my case, my son did not need the surgery. So the other thing is these type of babies, even with milk, they feed much better out of a spoon or a cup. So you can spoon feed milk to an infant, and you could also use like the little medicine cups that they can drink out of. It's amazing how adaptive the infants are. So that's what they used for the swallow study, to get him to ingest milk, because he couldn't really take a bottle. So he could never take a bottle. And I was trying to get him used to bottles very early because it was something I wanted a little more freedom than I had with my first child. And he just could not suck, breathe, swallow properly. He would choke. So with breastfeeding, he's able to kind of like manipulate the nipple a little more, but with bottles, he weren't. So we tried every type of bottle, and it was just that suck, breathe, swallow combination he could not get. So that's something else to look out for. But I just wanted to share a quick video with my experience, because they grow, it's something that the babies just grow out of between 12 months to 18 months. And obviously, like, even when my toddler is still nursing now, he has the episodes where he chokes, and it's not as bad. I trust him more because he's been doing it now his whole life, that he clears it and he's okay. But the feeding process was very slow and very scary. So even with that, like, the OT was tremendous. And then for him to be released around 8 to 10 months was amazing. It was such an amazing accomplishment. And just to start gaining some normalcy, and was nice. And he was starting to take a cup, so it was a very long first year with my second son. And so again, the reason I'm sharing this is just to make other mothers aware, moms to be, new moms that might have a feeling something's off, that this is something that exists. And your pediatrician might not catch on to it. They might, you might be discredited by people around you, discounted because you have lack of sleep and you're very tired. But just know, when you know, an ENT referral is the way to go for this case. And I'm sure there are other therapies I might not know about, but that was just my experience and something so completely brand new to me. And I was just trying to do the best I could. And thank God he did not need surgery, and we're kind of on the other end of it now. But it is hard. You are not crazy. Moms, if your baby can't sleep on his back, if they stop breathing, it can be a form of, like, either apnea or the Laryngomalacia. So just look into it, trust your instincts, and try to get support. Try to get support throughout the night and throughout the daytime, because the baby will have a very hard time sleeping on its back, most likely. So that's something else to just be aware of, and it's per your comfort, obviously, how your baby sleeps. But there's probably stuff I didn't know about or invest in for sleeping too that could have helped. So that's just my story, and I hope it helps somebody out there, at least educate maybe somebody who works with babies that doesn't know about this condition. Child care providers, so medically, I always need to explain that this exists and how, we just take it really slow with feedings and everything like that. So that's my story. You could check out, Google away Laryngomalacia to get a better understanding. And I hope you guys have a good day.